Hola, nuevos amigos. Bienvenidos una vez más a su programa. I've been thinking of you and wondering if you began to practice your vocabulary words, your dialogues, and write your compositions this past week. Have you been studying? You have? I'm so pleased. We have many interesting things to learn about today, so get out your Spanish journals, sharpen your pencils, and be ready to write. Ahora, saquen sus diarios de español y prepárense para escribir. Last time we met, we learned about the influence of Spanish culture all around us. Didn't the tortillas from Luna's Tortilla Factory look delicious? And the traditional quinceañera celebration was so joyful. Well, one of the reasons we have such a wonderful variety of businesses, traditions, and people in our communities is because people like the Luna family immigrated to the United States. Immigration is the act of moving or settling in another country or region temporarily or permanently. Let's learn how to say immigration in Spanish. Listen. Inmigración. La inmigración. Repeat after me. La inmigración. Very good. Today, we will learn why many people immigrated to the United States from Mexico in the early 1900s. We will also look at some types of Latin American music, and we'll discover a Mexican celebration that might seem a little unusual, but it's definitely family-minded. El Día de los Muertos. All right, nuevos amigos, let's begin with the verb of the day. Empecemos con el verbo del día.
El verbo del día es mudarse, to move, mudarse.
Let's conjugate our verb mudarse, to move. Yo me mudo. I move. Tú te mudas. You move. Él, ella se muda. He, she moves. Usted se muda. You move formal. Nosotros nos mudamos. We move. Ustedes se mudan. You all move. To move, mudarse, can be a life-changing event. When people immigrated to the United States from Mexico and other Latin American countries, they brought with them their belongings, but they also brought their culture and traditions. People immigrate for a number of reasons. These can include professional, political, and economic reasons, like finding better opportunities for work and education, and also to escape war or persecution. Another reason is to be close to family members. Many people have come to the United States to find liberty. Liberty is the condition in which people are free to make choices in their lives without being persecuted. Liberty in Spanish is libertad. La libertad. Say it with me. La libertad. Muy bien. Let's learn 2 additional words that we will discuss in our history segment related to immigration and liberty. La revolución. Revolution. La revolución. El dictador. Dictator. El dictador.
¿A dónde te mudas?
Yo me mudó a California.
Mi hermana se mudó a California el año pasado.
Great. When we move there, we'll go visit your sister.
Many immigrants from all over the world have moved to the United States. Some people came from Latin American countries like Cuba, El Salvador, Colombia, Venezuela, and Nicaragua. One of the largest groups of immigrants is people from Mexico. Mexicans have sought refuge and opportunity here since the last century.
In the early 1900s, Mexico was in a political transition from a time of dictatorship of Porfirio Diaz into a time of revolution that ran from 1910 until about 1921, and then the aftermath of that revolution, a time of great uncertainty, a time when people were at risk in their hometowns as armies of different kinds came through and pillaged or saved them, depending on your point of view. And many people found it necessary to leave their hometowns, either to go to the cities, like Mexico City, or even to leave the country and go across the northern border in the United States. When we look at immigrant communities in the United States, over the last couple of centuries, we discover they tend to come into places and form enclaves, form little communities, because initially they speak a language which is not English. They need to be able to communicate, they need to find housing, they need to find work, and they do that through their social networks, through their friends and their family members. Our research in the social sciences suggests that for Mexico, the people who come north tend to be better prepared than the ones who stay behind. That is, they are the cream of the crop, educationally, socially, in terms of having networks already in the United States, psychologically, in that they're willing to take the risks that are involved in coming to a new land. By comparison to the population in the United States, they tend to not have as high a level of education, but they adapt very well. Their children go to school, they learn English, and they prosper, as all immigrant populations have prospered through the second and third generations. So it's a myth that they're poorly prepared and cause our society to be downgraded in economic or psychological or social terms. They actually provide new ways of thinking, entrepreneurship to the economy. So many of our new businesses are run by immigrants, some of which then are very successful. And a small place that starts out making tortillas can become later a franchise with multiple locations and be very successful. That's because of the entrepreneurial spirit that the immigrants have. They're going to do something new in a new place. The Hispanic population in the United States continues to grow through immigration, and in the process, their role in the U.S. economy is growing. They are great consumers. They are interested in buying consumer goods of all kinds, cars, houses. Their participation in the housing market has been responsible for a tremendous boom in housing throughout the United States, especially in the American Southwest. They represent billions of dollars worth of ownership of businesses, and their consumer buying power is in the billions of dollars a year. Estimates are that within a decade or so, they may represent $1 trillion in consumer purchasing power. They buy for themselves, and they send their monies to their families back in Mexico and other countries as well. They are sustaining not just their economy here, but the economies of other countries that can prosper through their resources and their hard work. They are risk takers, entrepreneurs, and they bring their traditions with them, and we are fortunate to have them.
¿Qué tal, amigos? Me da mucho gusto en verlos de nuevo. I'm happy to see you again. Today I want you to think about our dicho and consider how the good decisions you make today can bring you a wonderful future. Listen. Cada quien construye su propio destino. Repitan conmigo. Cada quien construye su propio destino. When translated into English, this dicho means each person builds his own destiny. Now say it with me again in Spanish. Cada quien construye su propio destino. Muy bien. Think about today's dicho this week, and we will learn another wise saying next time, nuevos amigos. Adiós.
did you like our dicho today? I think it's very appropriate, especially since we're learning about people whose lives have changed because they moved from one country to another. They changed their destiny. When we speak about arte, most of us think about paintings, drawings, and things we can see. But art also includes things we can hear. What do you listen to that could be considered artistic? Could it be a song? La canción? Yes, say it with me. La canción. La canción. Good. Who would sing a song? Did you say a singer? Correcto. A singer, el cantante, would sing a song. Let's say it together. El cantante. El cantante. Many times when a singer sings, he or she is accompanied by an orchestra or a band. Orchestra in Spanish is orquesta. La orquesta. Repeat after me. La orquesta. Very good. A band in Spanish is banda. La banda. Todos juntos. La banda. Excelente. Now, let's take a look at Latin music.
One of the important cultural developments of the early 20th century was the rise of popular Latin music. It includes the music of many Latin countries and comes in many varieties. There is the sophisticated salsa of Cuba and Puerto Rico, the tangos of Argentina, and the folk music of Jalisco State in Mexico, just to name a few. It has such a large variety of styles that it appeals to almost everyone. One of the internationally known and popular styles is mariachi. Mariachi bands, bandas, originated in Mexico in the 1850s. They originally played at weddings and traditional celebrations. It is said that President Porfirio Diaz, in 1907, ordered a mariachi band to play for the United States Secretary of State, but they could only play if they wore charro suits. This is the traditional dress for mariachi bands and is considered the beginning of modern mariachi. A mariachi band is made up of musicians that play violins, trumpets, the guitar, the vihuela, a smaller guitar, and the guitarrón, a larger bass guitar. There isn't a lead singer, cantante, in mariachi because everyone in the ensemble sings. Different members sing the lead in different songs, canciones, depending on the singer's abilities in order to present a program that is artistically rounded. Today, Latin American music is played around the world in places as far away as France and Japan. Latin American music is everywhere!
¿Qué tipo de música te gusta?
A mí me gusta la música latina.
¿Y qué tipo de música le gusta a tu papá?
My father likes mariachi music best of all.
Estatua de la Libertad. La antorcha se encendió hace cientos de años. Le han visto al llegar inmigrantes en sus barcos. A veces se apaga, pero a gritos le aclaman. Que se encienda la llama para que alumbre el camino y a los aventureros su destino. Para que el cielo proteja la libertad y se extienda por toda ciudad.
Did you recognize the vocabulary word la libertad in today's poem? You did. Excelente. This poem reflects the feeling most Americans have. As we know, the United States is a country formed by immigrants looking for a better opportunity than what they had in their original countries. The flame of the Statue of Liberty in New York represents, in this poem, the hope of liberty and freedom that immigrants want to find in this country. Now, let's take a look at a special celebration that is held in many Latin American countries to remember family members and friends who were precious to us but are no longer alive. This celebration is called El Día de los Muertos, the Day of the Dead. Celebration in Spanish is celebración. La celebración. Repitan conmigo, la celebración. The word for dead in Spanish is muerto. Say it with me. Muerto. Muerto. Pay close attention to how this celebration is conducted at home and at the cemetery. Cemetery in Spanish is cementerio. El cementerio. Una vez más, el cementerio. Ahora veamos.
As immigrants, inmigrantes, came from Mexico, they brought with them more than just their language and food. Many historic and religious rituals quickly took root. One example is the celebration, la celebración, of El Día de los Muertos, the Day of the Dead, which is becoming more popular in the United States.
One of the most important dates in the Catholic religious calendar is the Day of the Dead, Día de los Muertos, or Noche de los Muertos, as it's more often referred to in Mexico, because people go to the cemeteries where their ancestors are buried and spend the night in communion with their ancestors. They bring food, they bring drink, they celebrate, they play music, they have a sense that the spirits are among them. It's not so much about being dead, but being in the family and having a sense of togetherness during that long night, which is finished then with a communion mass in the morning held in the cemetery.
Usually an altar is also prepared at home for a deceased loved one that you want to remember. It is decorated with pictures, candles, flowers, and favorite foods of the deceased. People make or buy sugar skulls and handcrafted skeletons, calaveras, which are funny and friendly rather than frightening or spooky. They represent the beloved dead ones, their occupations and hobbies. As they are placed on the altar, the delightful skeleton figures bring back fond memories and cause the grieving ones to smile. On November 1st and 2nd, it is believed that the spirit of the person will find its way to the altar and visit the living relatives that are honoring him or her. The 1st of November is designated for the souls of young children who have passed away. It is called the Day of the Little Angels, El Día de los Angelitos. The 2nd of November is dedicated to the souls of adults. Mexicans consider death as part of life, and although it is sad to lose a loved one, the Day of the Dead is more of a celebration, una celebración, to honor the lives of those who are gone.
Wasn't that fascinating, nuevos amigos? ¡Qué increíble! Ahora es tiempo para la composición estudiantil. It's time for your composition. Imagine that you are an immigrant and you have just moved to a new country. Write a letter to a friend describing what it is like. What kinds of stores are there? What kinds of restaurants? What kind of music do you hear? Use as much Spanish as you can as you describe your experience. Buena suerte! It's time for our review. Let's go over the new things we've learned today, nuevos amigos. The verb of the day was mudarse, to move. In our first dialogue, our students used the sentences, ¿A dónde te mudas? And Yo me mudo a California. We also used the sentence, Mi hermana se mudó a California el año pasado. Our new vocabulary included the terms la inmigración, immigration, la libertad, liberty. La revolución, revolution. El dictador, dictator. And la canción, song. El cantante, singer. La orquesta, orchestra. La banda, band. We also learned the words el cementerio, cemetery, muerto, dead. La celebración, celebration. In our second dialogue, the students used the following sentences. ¿Qué tipo de música te gusta? A mí me gusta la música latina. ¿Y qué tipo de música le gusta a tu papá? Our wise man brought us the dicho. Cada quien construye su propio destino. Remember to think of the meaning of our dicho and how you can make good decisions for your future. Be sure to write today's vocabulary words and your composition about what it is like to move to a new country in your Diarios de Español. You've worked very hard today, Nuevos Amigos. I am so proud of you. You've done an excellent job. Han hecho un trabajo excelente. If you have any interesting information or fun ideas about Latin American culture and history, then I'd like to hear from you. Write me a message and have your teacher email it to me. Mándame un correo electrónico. The email address is nuevosamigos@dallasisd.org. Remember, when you learn to speak another language, you also make new friends. Acuérdense, cuando aprendemos más de un idioma, podemos hacer nuevos amigos. Adiós.